Okay, right. Well, welcome back to another video. Since last time I have done some painting. I've also finished welding in the pieces up here that we've made. So all the pieces we've made are now in, and a coat of paint of primer just over everything, just giving it nice. This panel here, which is the I suppose forms the mud guard really, and the extension of the back wall of the cab. That was in pretty sorry state, paint wet wire, so I've cleaned that up with a wire brush and given it a coat of primer. And then once I've got some green paint, we'll then paint it along with everything else once we're done. So the next job, finally, which is kind of where it all started, the floor. We actually finally get to start working on making the new floor. So yeah, that's basically it. We're going to get on with it. Not sure how I'm going to do a pattern for this one. Obviously I've got the old floor that came out, which is basically complete. So yeah, I'll figure that out and we'll get straight on with it. Okay, so here's the old floor, and I've liberated this bracket, obviously, which will go onto the new floor, and then there's the air vent over here for the brake motors that needs to come out as well, so that can go in the new one. As you can see, there's not a lot. Well, I say there's not a lot left of the old one. It's got pretty thin in places. It's rusted, corroded really bad down the bottom end. In fact, I think even this is rust that I need to chip off. I don't know how big the tabs on the bottom have originally been. I mean, this one here looks to be about the extent of it. I ground off the floor that was obviously welded to it. I literally just cut those pieces out. But yeah, it was pretty badly corroded at the bottom. But I think that'll be enough to weld to anyway. Yeah, I don't actually know what this bracket's supposed to hold. Certainly, whatever it is isn't in the truck now. That's fine. You know, it's there more of a case of, you know, it was part of the vehicle. You know, we could not put it back in, and you know, that'd be fine. But I would like it at least to still be in the truck as an original piece. So I'm gonna work out how to get this vent out now, and then we can make a pattern. You can see how bad the floor was in this section though. I mean, it's like freaking Swiss cheese. Yeah, it's filler that looked like it was poured in there to try and fill the holes, but okay, right. So what I did is I basically, this is the bracket that the vent was sat in. And what I did is basically just cut out a rectangle around it so the whole thing dropped out. Made it a lot easier to work on. So what I did was, so this was sat like that, this flush with here. I came in and managed to slip a cutting disc in this side and in this side, freeing up the piece that was round it. I then pried it away. It's just a slip fit on there. 2 pairs of pliers, just did that a bunch of times, and it obviously fell apart because there's not a lot left of it. And then in bending this, the piece of floor away from the bracket, this finally broke loose and it's just slipped in. So this bracket and the hole in the floor are there literally just to hold on to it, and the pipe being on the other end is what stops it going anywhere, essentially. So it's not actually affixed to the bracket in any way, it just sits in it. So that's actually kind of good news in a way, because this makes it a hell of a lot easier. I just need to get these bits of old floor off the bracket. I can weld the bracket to the new floor, drill a new hole in that, and then just slot this back in there. So that's a lot easier. I was worried about having to fit in that it was welded on in some way, but then at the same time I was looking, I can't see any sign of welding. I was sort of scratching my head for a little while. So this is a brilliant little revelation. And this is still in reasonably good condition. There's a small rust hole. There's a small rust hole just here. That's not too bad. I can't see that really causing any problem. Probably just clean it up, and we'll obviously repaint it. But yeah, there's a little bit, there's some pitting in places, but it's not too bad at all. So that's good, because that's another original piece of the truck we can keep hold of. Yeah, I'm well happy that that's come out basically in one piece. Just chip off some of this rust. Yeah, it's a bit thin just here, tapping around. Don't know if it's worth trying to repair that or just leaving it as is. Knock off the rust, paint it and have done with it. Anyway, I'm going to get these bits of metal. Literally this is just spot welded to the, which is what we'll essentially go back and do. We'll plug weld obviously rather than spot welding, but I'll peel these off of here, and then the floor is actually ready that we can mark out to cut a new piece of steel. So and I'll take you through that when we come back. Okay, as you can see, I've marked out my piece ready to be cut out. So this is the flat part of the floor. And then to get the shape here where it meets the piece of the wheel arch, which I've decided to cut out separately and shape and then weld onto this piece before the whole thing goes into the truck. I decided it's probably in the long term, at least for the bending portion, a little easier than trying to get a flat piece, this massive piece of flat metal, and then bending a piece on the end of it. So I made a pattern of the original, just down there on the floor, and then use this to mark out my line. Now it is a little on the crude life, and I've left a little extra material, and again I'll do the same when we cut out, when we cut this piece out. I'll leave it a little long, and then we can trim when we need to get things to fit as we'd like. So yeah, I'm going to cut this out, and then we'll lay this out and cut this out and maybe get to some bending. Right, that's the first piece cut out. I'm going to go and stick it in the truck and see what it looks like, and make sure we actually got it right. Right, this is right. Let me back up a second. On the section of floor we cut out, there was one of the beads or ribs that have been formed in the floor to keep it stiff, and so it doesn't do that basically. So particularly, if you're working with words, if you're working with sheet steel and you want it particularly like a floor or a wall, a large panel, if you don't put any ribs or often you'll see it, they'll run a bead in sort of, if this is a big panel, you might run a bead all the way around the edge, offset distance from the side, and that would stiffen it up and stop it popping and banging like that. So that's essentially what these are. Now this part of the floor, there are none in it. I think mostly because this piece is actually attached to the seat base, Actually comes round, I think actually slightly past this section, and goes up that way like that. And sits there and is spot welded to the floor all the way around, which is why I don't think they're bothered with the rest of the panel. But from this section on is where your feet go, and there's nothing else there. So there's, I think, 3 or 4 of these beaded these ribs. I don't know why I'm calling them ribs, but I don't know. Can you call them beads? I don't know. I know the machine you may used to make them is called a bead roller. So actually they're called beads. I should probably know this, but I don't. At least I'm not entirely sure anyway. So anyway, the setup is I'm going to go have a go at forming one. So I've got the workmate set roughly the distance apart I think it needs to be to form it, and then just to hold this piece flat, I've got 2 of my welding magnets with a couple of clamps just wide as we can for us to sort of hold it roughly in place. It will move a little bit, and then I've just got a big cold chisel and a hammer. I'm just going to go at it. I've made a little bit of a start. It started to bend, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. This might take a few. This may well take me a while. So yeah, I might try a time lapse. I think there's a time lapse thing on it. So might give that a go. Quickly before I forget, I did cut out the other piece, which goes in there like that once it's been shaped. I don't think it should be too bad on that actually, but we'll find out later. So right, let me see if I can set this up somewhere and then get on with it. Right, this goes pretty quickly. It was actually really easy to form this bead. I should have clamped this down, but as you'll see, this moves around quite a lot. I spent quite a bit of time tapping it back where it should be. Unfortunately, those are the only clamps I had on the day. But yeah, obviously you'll see I run the chisel down the backside on either side of the bend, keep everything straightened up and really show where the edges are. You'll see just there I punch a hole in it with the chisel. I went hit it a bit hard just there. The chisel was quite sharp and I should have rounded it off a bit, but all fixable. Right, next we're gonna start bending this piece. Shouldn't be too bad. I think primarily I'm going to start just bending with my hands, and then probably like this bit being quite small, I might need to get in there with a couple of these, probably like my Stilton pliers, and just gently tweak it, maybe a little bit with the hammer. So yeah, shouldn't go too badly, I don't think. But I got the other one as a bit of a reference anyway on the exact shape, so and then like this section, obviously I can go and offer up to the truck to get it in the right place. So some of it might, some of it I'm thinking like this piece in particular, it might be that we get it close, and then as this gets tacked in and welded in, we'll then do a final adjustment, just lightly tapping with a hammer or something. But so obviously I left this edge when I cut this, left this edge long. This is where it joins to the main piece of the floor, and I've left the same section on that long as well. So we'll bend this up and then we'll fit the two together and trim where we need to get this nice. Yeah, and obviously I use the same template to cut both pieces, so they should be the same shape essentially, just both slightly long. I think I'm going to set this up on another time lapse while I do this. I can put my music in my ears and just ignore the camera essentially then. Yeah, cool. Okay, so it's made us a good start. It's not actually too far off. We've got some forming to do, a bit of stretching and whatnot, to get this fit right and for the shape to be right. But this is definitely a good start. Okay, I came to the conclusion that to help fit that curved piece, I needed to fit the main piece of floor. I then realised that one edge wasn't quite long enough for me to form a bend in the end, where it meets another panel. So I'm just making a little extension piece basically right here, and you'll see me in a minute set the bender up and bend that piece. And later on in the next clip you'll see that I've spot welded it on. Somehow I don't think I actually explained that that's what I'd done, but here's a clip of me doing it anyway. Okay, what I've done is I've marked a line across here. What I did on the truck, on the truck, I've marked out on each end on the metal that's still there where the line of the tab is that runs along just under here. I also just use my spirit level as a straight edge just to confirm that that tab is actually straight and not got a curve in it, that would then necessitate making a pattern so we can mark an accurate line of where it is, but it is pretty much straight. Straight enough that we can just drill a straight line of holes and have them land on it nicely. So I then put this exactly where I put this in the truck, got it in the right position of where it's going to be, and then I've just marked either end where my marker lines were, and then I've obviously then just drawn a nice straight line between the two. So I'm going to go through and mark out some holes evenly spaced, and then I'll center punch them and draw some holes. Remember people, turn the microphone on, then people can hear you. Right. I have drilled holes and deburred them, as you saw me doing. So that's ready to go. I've got a little bit of clean up on the truck to do, and I've got a few holes to drill in this because this also gets plug welded to the panel it butts up against. And then I think we're pretty much ready to start getting this installed. So with that, I'm going to get on with it. These holes, I think the best way to do this. Mark that for a start. install those. Better to start. So I've got to... Right. This is such a short section, I'm not going to bother marking this out, I'm just literally going to punch these holes by eye pretty much. Right. Get these ones drilled. Okay, so we're about ready to start welding this panel in. I don't know that I'm going to be able to show you much of me welding. Might see if I can set my phone up somewhere and get you a little bit of that. I'm going to figure that out and finish up getting this all set up ready. Got my welding magnets, we'll set those in a couple of places to hold this in the right place. And then we'll start tacking it in. So hopefully I'll bring you along for a little bit of that. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, this bit, and I'm pretty excited to get this in. So, alright, I'll finish getting set up. Okay, so right, I'm all set up. I'm just going to plonk a couple of tacks in, just to keep us in the right place, and then we can start going a bit better. That's that there and there tacked in. Okay, yeah. Tacking around here somewhere. Okay. Okay, right, so I'm getting there with this. The next thing to do is I left this panel and this panel a little long in this area, so I'm going to tidy up this piece, particularly just here first, and then I'm going to, I think, make a template. I'll probably just slide a piece of card under here, mark a couple of reference points on the other side, and then mark the line, cut it, and then when I place it on top, I'll then be able to line it with the marks I've made, which then allow me to draw the line around here on this piece, to then cut it from the top, and then we'll lump them together. So yeah, we're nearly done on this piece. Obviously, all this to weld up here. But yeah, so nearly done, and then we can sort out the seat base, and then eventually get the paint in, which I'm actually looking forward to. So hey, okay, so that's that trimmed up and mostly welded in. Got the last little bit to do here. Okay, that's completely welded in now. So I mean, technically the floor is in, it's finished. Obviously I've got a lot of cleanup work to do. Get the wire brush out and clean off all the surface rust and everything. We got the bottom of the seat base just to redo the bottom edge of it. Then we can paint and put that back in, and we're all done basically. So right, so I finished all the welding now on the floor. I literally had that little seam back there to do. I just sort of filled a few of the larger pinholes that I found, and just sort of tied up a little bit. I've wire brushed it to clean it up. There's quite a bit of surface rust on it. So yeah, that's done for now, and we're going to sort out the seat base. So come on, have a look at that. It's not as bad as I remembered, I don't think so. So here it is, upside down obviously at the minute. So both this edge and this edge here, that edge there, to be honest, it's only really the lip, the tab, that really needs replacing. The actual, the walls are fine, so they're not going to be too bad. And the major bits of this baffle in the middle, we have to take a reasonable amount off to repair that, and the same on this side. I mean, we've got right all the way down to here. This is where it meets the wheel arch. Okay, there's the first bit replaced. Pretty happy with that. All I did was obviously just measured out the original piece, cut that, offered it up, made sure it was correct, and then I cut off the old one, cleaned it up, and then yeah, welded it on. I didn't even use a square or anything, and that's actually turned out pretty damn good. So I'm more happy with that. Yeah, got that one to do next, which is a lot longer piece. I'll straighten that up a little bit. I think it's got a little bit of a bend in it. Okay, right. The next piece is this piece, and initially I thought that I could just replace the tab like I had on the front here. On close inspection, I think we're going to have to cut a little bit more out of there. We've got a rust hole here, and it's looking pretty thin up here as well, and it's rotted through there and quite thin a lot of the way along. So we're going to have to take, I don't know, probably 15-20 mil down, I think, maybe. But I'm going to make up, I'm going to have a bit of a closer look at it. I might just with the angle on, just clean this edge up here just to see what it looks like underneath all the old paint. And you can see it's pretty pitted along here, and have a bit of a look and see, and then I'll actually I'll make the piece up and then use that as a jig to cut the old bit off. This still isn't as bad as this side. This side's really bad.
see a lot of it is gone. That whole piece is gone. So yeah, I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna measure this up, get a piece of steel out, and start cutting out a new piece. Okay, right, this is where we're at now. Got this piece on, got that piece on. Sorry I haven't really shown you anything of what I'm doing. I've just sort of been in the zone really. I'm in the process of doing this one. I've actually made the piece. Okay, so as you can see, I've clamped the piece on and I'm ready to weld. So I'll bring you along for a bit of the welding. Probably not all of it because I imagine it's going to become quite boring quite quickly. So we're just going to, stitch a little bit here, stitch a little bit over there, and sort of try and keep the heat even. It's going to warp anyway, and I can sort that out afterwards. That's not a problem. Yeah, I'll really get on with it. Okay, so that's that all welded up. And as you can see, I have a nice big warp in there. So I'm going to straighten that out of the dolly now. As you can see, we burnt some old paint. That's fine. So yeah, we're going to straighten that out of the dolly now. There's the dolly, and there's the hammer. And I had to do that with the other ones as well. So we'll straighten this out, and it'll be all looking all nice. Right. Okay, hopefully you can see somewhat of what I'm doing. I've got you positioned up on the roof so I can barely see what you can see, but anyway. I'm just going to come along with the straight edge. Sorry, and coming on the other side. I'll have to put some ears in because this gets pretty loud. See if this will work. I don't know if you can still hear me because I don't know what microphone it's now using, but. Okay, so that's reasonably straight now. So we've got this section to trim out. See my vague line there. And then so it's time to go and test fit it. And then we've got holes to drill. Yeah, right, so I've been over this with the wire brush, clean it all up. I like to paint this side, which faces the engine cowling, and it's a bit difficult to get to once it's installed. So and I paint red oxide primer this part, and then put some colour on it, and the rest of it I'll do once it's installed, because this obviously where this is where you get damaged by us welding it in, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so this is the seat base all in and at least primed, or mostly primed. Still a little bit to do on the bottom there and there. There's still a bit thin, a couple of coats on that. So yeah, I'm sorry I haven't filmed any of it. I was in the zone and needed to get it done, and yeah, didn't really want to sit there messing about with the camera. So basically it's very simple. I drilled all the little holes in the tabs for plug welding. When I placed the seat base in, I tacked it in on these ends to get those in the right position the rest of it, a couple of more tacks, and then pretty much just went through systematically and welded it all out. I know some of it, that bit in particular, is not very pretty, but once the seat base is on and the seat back is on, you're never going to see it, so it's fine. So yeah, I've got a little bit more work to do with painting, but that's it. I mean, yeah, I could put the seat on it and go and drive it today if I wanted to. So we're going to end this one here. This is going to be the last video in the series. I don't think I can make a particularly interesting video about me painting colour on it, some green paint on it, so I'm not going to bore you with any of that. The next video should be the brakes, which we've got to do. I've got about a month to get it done before a road one we're on, and you know, just go through the truck. It hasn't moved in over a year, so just yeah, I've got a little bit of maintenance to catch up with and go through everything, make sure everything's alright. Put some good petrol in it. Thankfully there's barely anything left in the tank, so that'll dilute with some good fuel. Anyway, I'm rambling on. Yeah, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching if you've made it this far. Yeah, see you next time.